Guys, you must have heard those childhood stories that a prince once had a flying carpet and he goes wherever he wants. In this era, new certain resources are growing to send humans straight away to space or far away distances. In today's video, I'm going to discuss those resources and will ask you the question that either you can travel to space instantly or not. So, let's start today's video with an introduction to teleportation. Teleportation is a theoretical exchange of issue or energy starting with one point, then on to the next without crossing the actual space between them. It is a generally expected object in sci-fi writing and in other mainstream societies. Instant transportation is regularly matched with time travel, being with the going between the two focuses takes an obscure time frame now and then being prompt. In simple words, you can say that it is the transportation of something like data or a matter of space that's across space and distance quickly. While human instant transportation presently exists just in sci-fi, transportation is conceivable now in the subatomic universe of quantum mechanics, but not in the way normally portrayed on television. In the quantum world, transportation includes the transportation of data rather than the transportation of matter. Recently, it seems like the examination world has sent off into a max speed round of what superpower would you pick. For the people who want intangibility, engineers are creating fascinating materials that can twist an item's light all the way concealed. For would-be clairvoyants, neurobiologists are chipping away at ways of pursuing one individual's mind wave designs and communicating them into someone else's head. My undisputed top choice, however, is maybe the most ludicrous dream force of all: transportation. The capacity to show up without voyaging, envisioning the option to dematerialize from your parlor and appear the following second in Venus or the Amazon rainforest or the rings of Saturn. The thought is alluring that it has been a pillar of sci-fi since the beginning of Star Trek and Doctor Who. However, also appear to be an attack on common sense. Star Trek has a great deal to deal with serious consequences regarding, not content to prod us with preposterous assumptions for phasers and twist drive. It likewise pushes, and I mean pushes, into the famous creative mind the possibility of instant transportation, in which we venture into a Goliath scanner or the like and quickly find ourselves elsewhere, the whole self unblemished. Hypothetically, there are truly just two different ways this can and can't be done: actual deconstruction at X and reconstitution at Y, or the interpretation of one's individual into information to be communicated, and then at that point, reconverted into the matter similar to some natural fax machine. Unthinkable? In 1993, a worldwide gathering of 6 researchers demonstrated that an ideal instantaneous transport is conceivable on a fundamental level, or if nothing else, not against the laws of physical science, especially since in recent times, researchers in the United States and China, just last year, Chinese researchers were able to teleport photons to a satellite 300 miles away using a feature called quantum entanglement. Essentially, put this spooky action at a distance is the place where a couple of photons can at the same time have a similar state in any event when isolated by immense distances. Change the condition of one molecule and oddly different changes as well, with no distinguishable association. Quantum entanglement empowers somebody holding one of the particles to send immediately a lump of data, the dark obscure quantum state in the title of the paper, to another person holding the molecule. Due to that bizarre quantum association, the data goes from one individual to the next without truly passing them. It shows up without voyaging. Moving data starting with one molecule then on to the next may not sound like a ton, like Scotty energies, yet at a central level they are two forms of similar cycle. Each molecule in Captain Kirk's body is a bunch of information like the kind of particle, area, energy state. The chief all in all is only a gigantic assortment of those informational indexes. Magically transport all the important data to the outer layer of a planet and you can remake Kirk precisely as he was on board the boat. Well, possibly. Instant transportation innovation has advanced quickly starting around 1993, and it is presently being tried in the lab. However, as the group of the Enterprise over and over found, human instant transportation is difficult to do right and simple to fool up. There might be better, less difficult ways of achieving that kind of superpower. Better believe it, definitely no doubt. Assuming you are in any way similar to me, you need to be aware of the limitless type of instant transportation, the sort that shafts individuals from one spot to another. Allow me to treat your excitement with two contemplations, one philosophical and one mechanical. In the first place, extracting all the data from Captain Kirk's body, or yours, requires knowing the actual condition of each iota, which would require all-out crumbling. Each time Kirk ventures into the carrier, then at that point he is ending it all and afterward getting reawakened at the opposite end. Second, how much data needed to remake him is faltering, around 4.5 into 1042 pieces. Haven't really been solved recently as part of an exceptionally engaging material science project for the University of Leicester. No one knows how to gather and send that much data. What's more, recollect the way that the smallest aggravation ruins quantum snare? The most common way of reassembling your molecules would innately scramble the data. Now, it's a self-destruction toward one side without resurrection at the other. Kirk should get into a red shirt first. The teleportation circumstance turns out to be substantially less depressing in the event that you twist the definition of a piece, notwithstanding. As various computer game players have seen, the human mind has a wonderful capacity that it can extend itself outside the body and into different articles or virtual spaces. NASA has taken advantage of that capacity with human exploration, telerobotics, and undertaking that lets space travelers occupy robots in areas that are deadly or distant. A mechanical space traveler will before long be walking around the International Space Station. Soon you could also encounter space investigation vigorously through a Mars meanderer or mechanical arms jabbing at a far-off space rock. Assuming that is an over-the-top cheat for you, could a DNA fax machine? Biotech master J. Craig Venter recommends that assuming we observe microbial life on Mars, we could group its genome locally, communicate the data, and reconstruct the living being here on Earth. On a fundamental level, Venter noticed the cycle could exceed everyone's expectations. It would be feasible to send human DNA alongside a fitting hatchery to far-off planets and incorporate individuals at the opposite end. Then, at that point, your clone could fire, settling in on a world circling Alpha Centauri b. Cloning actually doesn't satisfy the full superpower dream of instant transportation, I understand. No, what you in a perfect world need is a finished psych transfer to your far-off doppelganger with the goal that you, he, she can truly be there. That would decrease the instant transportation issue from most likely unimaginable to stunningly troublesome. That actually leaves the issue of the cerebrum's colossal data content. Yet, assuming you acknowledge that data is the main thing that characterizes your psyche, the errand appears to be plausible. Don't really want to collect iotas carefully in the right areas, simply the realities will do. Note an intriguing consistent idea through this multitude of conceivable outcomes, regardless of whether you see yourself as a heap of iotas, a DNA arrangement, a progression of tactical information sources, or an intricate PC document. In these translations, you are only a pile of information. As indicated by the standard of unitarity, quantum data is rarely lost. Set them up and those two assertions lead to a stunning result. At the most crucial level, the laws of material science say you are everlasting. Well, this was the whole story, guys. I'm hoping that the day is not too far when the technology will provide the facility to teleport humans too. Till that time, keep on watching my videos, do subscribe to my channel, and I'll be waiting for your comments.